Once your child has developed simple requesting and labeling skills, it's time to start teaching more complex social communication skills. In ABA, the term intraverbals refers to responding to someone else's communication. This can range from simple fill in the blanks to answering more complex questions. As adults, this is our most used form of communication. Although we might ask for things from other people or even label an important piece of information, most of our communication involves responding to what other people say. This might sound complicated, but in this lesson, we will break this skill down into smaller pieces that are easier to teach. Again, this skill can be taught using any form of communication that works for your child. As with the other skills we've covered so far, it's important to make this fun for your child so that he will be motivated to communicate with others. Kelsey has been working hard to teach her son Cameron to communicate. He can ask for many of the things he wants and labels a variety of things, including objects, sounds, and even the smell of his favorite cookies. She's worried that his communication is robotic and not spontaneous. Kelsey decides to teach verbal responding to Cameron. She envisions asking him questions about his day and having conversations with him about the things he enjoys. She feels that the teaching procedure is familiar since it's so similar to the procedures she used to teach Cameron to imitate, request, and label. Kelsey chooses targets that are related to things she knows Cameron likes. She thinks this will help keep him motivated and lead to her ultimate goal of having a conversation with him. She creates opportunities as often as possible throughout their day, although she admits there are many days when she simply forgets. Over time, she notices that his communication is becoming gradually more spontaneous. Although Cameron still mostly talks about concrete things he can see, he has answered some questions about school when something fun and unusual happens that he's really excited about. Kelsey knows that with continued practice, Cameron's communication will continue to improve. For the sake of simplicity, in this lesson, rather than saying responding to someone else's communication, we will use the phrase verbal response, or even more simply, response. Although we are using the term verbal response, this includes whatever form of communication your child uses, including sign language, PECS, or a communication app. Before teaching your child verbal responding, make sure he has some requesting, imitating, and labeling skills. These skills are the building blocks for this more complex form of communication and will be needed for teaching. There is no magic number of words your child needs to say before teaching responding. The right time will depend on your child and how quickly he learns new skills. He must have enough words to respond to what you say. If you try to teach responding and your child struggles, go back to teaching some of the other skills and come back to this later. Although there are many ways you can respond to someone else's communication, we are going to talk about the most common 3 categories: fill-ins, questions, and conversations. Fill-ins are usually the easiest verbal response to learn and the most fun. A fill-in occurs when you start saying something and your child finishes what you are saying. This response can be from songs or common phrases. Teaching your child to verbally respond follows the same basic steps that you used to teach each of the other skills. First, identify the targets and the reinforcers you will use. Then, collect pictures of each of your targets. When playing with your child, have the reinforcers and pictures next to you. Start the target phrase. Then present the picture and prompt your child to use his alternative communication if he uses one. If he says the word or uses his alternative communication, provide reinforcement right away, within 3 seconds. If he doesn't say the word or use his alternative communication, start the phrase again, present the picture, say the word this time, and prompt the alternative communication again, if he uses one. Try up to 3 times. If he still doesn't say the word or use his alternative communication, try something he does know how to do so you can give him a reinforcer. As with teaching all the other skills, first you need to choose your targets. Think about songs your child knows and likes. Does he know row, row, row your, or twinkle, twinkle little? What about Old MacDonald had a, or Baba Black? When you leave off the last word, you create an opportunity for someone to fill in the ending. If your child can label or imitate any of these words, these songs might be good targets for you to teach. Now think of some phrases that he is familiar with or that relate to activities that he enjoys. If he likes things that move or enjoys going down the slide, you could try ready, set. If he likes animals, try woof says the. Maybe bubbles are his go-to activity, so you try you blow. As he starts to develop more language, try some things that go together like shoes and, or bat and. Remember, find targets that include words he already knows or that have some meaning or value to him. Now that you have your targets, collect pictures of each of those targets. These will help you teach your child the correct response. If he doesn't yet label the target, try teaching him the label before teaching the verbal response. This makes teaching the response much easier. If he knows the song or phrase, you can pair the picture with the song or phrase. For example, if he doesn't label star but knows the song Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, sing the song, and when you get to the word star, present the picture while saying the word. Once you have pictures of each of your targets, go to where your child likes to play. If he loves when you push him on the swing, head on out to the swing. Put a table, chair, or other surface next to the swing to make it easier for you to reach the materials you need. Set the pictures and other reinforcers you might want to use on the table within easy reach. Let him get on the swing and swing for a brief moment, then stop the swing and start the phrase. Immediately present the picture that matches the target phrase and prompt him to use his alternative communication if he uses one. If he says the word or uses his alternative communication, immediately push the swing and say, "Yes, boat, that's right." You can also vary reinforcers you give him to keep him motivated and excited. Once your child begins to fill in your statements more regularly, introduce some simple questions. Keep the questions concrete. Start with what, where, then who questions before introducing more complex and abstract questions. Again, choose targets that are familiar to your child or relate to something he enjoys. Try questions such as, what bounces? Or what flies? Then introduce questions like, where do you sleep? And where do you jump? Next, add some questions such as, who hops? And who is your friend? Follow the same procedure as before, using pictures of the targets to help your child answer the questions correctly. Create opportunities for your child to practice communicating throughout his daily activities. This makes communication and learning much more natural. It's ideal to embed teaching when he's engaged in fun activities as long as you can get his attention. Keep pictures and reinforcers nearby so you're always ready to teach. Conversations involve at least 2 people talking about the same topic in an exchange back and forth. These exchanges might include questions and answers or simple comments that volley back and forth. Don't start teaching conversation skills until your child readily responds to a variety of fill-ins and questions, including questions you didn't teach him to respond to. Teaching conversations is just a little different than teaching other responding in that you won't use pictures to help your child respond. Many children still benefit from the use of some sort of visual. Try playing an on-topic game where each time one of you says something related to what the other person says, you lay down a green link. When someone says something off topic, you lay down a red link in the opposite direction. See how long you can make the chain before changing directions. It may take many months or years to teach your child these responding skills. Stay patient. Your child will develop skills at his own rate. Continue to create opportunities for him to communicate. Make it fun and avoid pressuring him.